Alright guys, this here is going to be the next video. I'm out in America at the minute and this is a truck I've got. It's a GMC SIERRA 2024 with the 5.3 litre V8. It's got 355 horsepower and about 500 newton meters of torque. It's a pretty decent wagon. It's got the pickup in the back, so it's pretty, the utility of this vehicle is really good. But this video is just going to be me just taking on a little drive around town. I've had it about 2 weeks now, and generally I really like it. It's really smooth drive. It is a pretty nice car. Just got a couple of issues with it, like the fact that the indicator and the wipers are on the same stalk, which is a bit annoying, because you kind of like set off the wipers while you're just trying to indicate sometimes, which isn't particularly great. And I'm not a fan of the selector stalks that are in a lot of these American cars, but hey, it's not a bad little wagon. I've generally enjoyed my time having it, and yeah, I'm just going to get into it. Little drive around town and you can see what it's like. Conditions at the minute are pretty icy, so I can't really, take the piss if there's sort of a better term for that, but it's the one I use. Yeah, it's a nice car, drives really smoothly. And it's actually made me kind of want a wagon like this, even though their practicality in the UK is pretty much zero. Just because they're just too big. Probably a bit too heavy. But a couple of things that really impressed me about this car. First thing straight off the bat, fuel economy isn't as bad as you'd think it'd be. Full tank of gas, get you like 500 miles, which is pretty good. I've just filled up at a gas station a few minutes ago. It doesn't do particularly well when it comes to MPG. It's like 19 is probably the best you're gonna get on the highways out here. But it's relatively cheap to fill up. Like, it cost me about $60 to fill this up in a tank. Now back in the UK, that's probably going to be, 150 pounds. So in the UK, it's not particularly the most economical. However, that is for 500 miles in a 5.3 litre wagon. That is pretty comfortable. Seats are really comfortable. It generally is a dream to drive. It is so nice to drive. Yeah, I don't really think much more needs to be said really, so I'm just gonna drive it about and see what you guys think. Might add one or two comments, but for the rest of the video I'm gonna be pretty quiet. However, bear in mind, this thing isn't loud at all. 5.3 litre, you can't really hear it, to be honest with you, which was pretty surprising. Got a Ram, Dodge Ram 1500 as well. That thing sounds really nice. We've also got a Suburban, so hopefully I'll try and make some videos on those vehicles, because Suburbans are extremely beautiful cars to drive, but for me the Ram is just an absolute beast. Tears up the roads, absolute weapon. And if it was relatively affordable in the UK, I probably would get one. But yeah, they're crazy expensive back in the UK. I'll give it some, see if you can kind of hear the engine a bit. Not much there really, which is a bit disappointing. Got a heated steering wheel, that's pretty nice. I like that. However, it does get a little bit too hot, so I'll switch that off because it can get a bit annoying. So we're going into a 45 zone, so I'm just going to slow it down a little bit, put it in the sport and give it just a little bit of beans. It is icy, so I do have to kind of watch the driving a bit. So try to slow down a bit to about 20-ish. I'll go from there. But it is pretty quiet though, that's the unfortunate thing. Then again though, you know, do you really want something to be screaming at you when it's such a lovely car to drive? I'm not so sure, to be honest with you. I've also driven this car up in the snow, up in the mountains, and that was generally a pretty fun experience. But this car really does perform super well when it comes to off-roads. Generally really good. As I said, I'll just kind of intervene with sort of snippets that I think are important to know about the car, things I've enjoyed. One of them being off-roading, which was really good. Bit more of an open piece of road, so I'm gonna just drive up here and then sort of go from a standstill up to a decent little speed, and we'll see what you think. Try to get a little rev in, why not? Soft limiter, 3,000. Oh, you can't win them all. Ice on the road, so I'm just going to slow down a little bit now. Yeah, it's not too bad. It is a big wagon, bear in mind, and she's pretty heavy, so it's not going to take off that quick, to be honest with you. But it's not bad. I've driven this in the dry, where there's no ice or anything like that, and it's, I wouldn't say it's fast, but it's, you know, it moves. For a big old wagon, it moves. I'm sure if you slap the big old supercharger on this puppy, it should definitely fly a lot quicker, but, you know, I think just as a little motor to drive around and, you know, do your off-roading, or here in America, like, just do whatever ranchers do, you know, this car is pretty much all you need. You don't really need much more than this. And, well, you know me, I love a big V8, so I love to hear that. Sounds, it does sound so smothered, but it's not bad. You know, it's not a bad sound for a V8. But yeah, look, it's good. It's good little motor, to be honest with you. And I do generally enjoy it. It's going to be a shame we'll have to hand this puppy back in, but hey, it is what it is. The Ram is a beast of a wagon, and I really do hope I get to make a couple of little videos for you. Whether they're a sort of, you know, I don't know if you think this one's boring or not, but it is pretty icy out and I don't particularly fancy a crash. But yeah, hopefully we can get it on more sort of dry area and give you a bit better of a sort of a road, a little blast, rather than just me chatting absolute welly about random stuff. But hey, it's what it is. I do a little 0 to 60, maybe not with the eyes actually, so second thought, cancel that. Yeah. Yeah, she's sliding out there, even in 4-wheel drive, she's not wanting it. As you can see, if pulling on the brake, she is not wanting it. Just trying to find a little spot to turn around, kind of head towards town again. It's definitely hoping these Montana back roads, man, they just don't really salt them, so the more hour you go out from town, it just gets worse, so better off just sticking to the town roads. I mean, it's be a bit foolish for me to try and go off-roading or anything like that without sort of the help you would need, sort of backup you need to driving roads out here, especially up in the mountains like I was doing. Swing around. These icy roads are no bueno, especially not a Big Daddy. Because this thing doesn't stop at a dime. That's another thing to mention. Even in the dry, this thing's brakes aren't particularly great, to be honest with you. It's something GMC should probably take a look at to upgrade. And if I did buy one of these cars, I definitely will be upgrading to a bigger brake kit, because the one on this just isn't really good enough, to be honest with you. Like, as you've seen there, a little bit of ice, and even in 4-wheel drive she's struggling to stop. Now I know you can say, yeah, that's down to tires, there's a degree on that. And yeah, to be fair, this car isn't on snow tires, so I do understand that. However, even just in the wet, this car doesn't really slow down that quick. You've got to get on the brakes really early, even just doing normal town driving. So for me, as I said, I'd definitely upgrade the brakes on this thing. It's not to say they're terrible, they're just, for the size and the weight of the vehicle, I just think you're better off just going with bigger brakes. In here. Alright guys, that's where I'm going to end this video. I hope you generally got some sort of information out of it and enjoyed it. I've thoroughly enjoyed the time I've had this wagon, and I've driven it probably about, I want to say 3,500 miles now, so I think I've driven it enough to be able to say I kind of have a good understanding of the car, and I'm able to make those opinions that I have are valid. It's not like someone else who's, you know, has had the car for a day they've driven it 50, 60 miles and they go, oh, I'm going to say all these things about this wagon. No, I've had this car for 2 weeks now and I've driven it, as I said, nearly 3,000 miles. So I think I know enough about what's good, what's bad, what I like and what I don't like. Before I forget, what is terrible on this car is, if you want to get your Google Maps up, you need to subscribe to something and pay for it, which I think is pretty dross. So I've had to use even though this thing is brand new car, I've had to use my phone in lieu of paying for maps, which I just think is really ridiculous. But yeah, it's just a really stupid point. But as I said, this is probably where I'm gonna stop the video. And yeah, I look forward to making another video. As I said, hopefully I'll be able to do one in the Ram. I'll try to get the Silverado out and do a couple more vehicles before I head back to the UK, because we got all these big trucks, big V8s, all drive differently, but they're generally really good cars. And yeah, I look forward to making another video. Thanks for anyone who's watched, and if you can subscribe and like the video, I really would appreciate that. I know I've chatted a bit welly in a lot of it, but I'm new to this game, I'm new to the YouTube stuff, and I'm learning every day. And make sure you check out my shorts as well, because I generally do put a lot of stuff on there. I think they're just really good insights into sort of the car scene and what's going on out there and what other people are doing, and some of the videos of what I'm doing. And I still don't really know exactly where I want to go with the channel, but for now, just if you have watched this, generally thank you, and I do appreciate it.